It's the Great Depression era. One morning you wake up wealthy, and by nightfall you're flat broke. No World War brewing yet, no advance notice. Just a devastating crash that erased trillions in today's dollars, over $200 billion back then, and plunged America into a long decade of poverty, starvation, and choking dust bowls. So what on earth caused it all? Let's roll back the clock to the wild celebration that came right before the collapse. Picture yourself opening your eyes in 1922. World War I is finally over. The fashions are outrageous with those oversized mustaches and the economy. It's absolutely electric. Factories have shifted from churning out war machines to producing everyday wonders. Toasters, vacuum cleaners, and modern refrigerators that made old ice boxes seem ancient history. New York City's skyline is exploding upward, skyscrapers rising like they're fueled by pure ambition. Jazz spills out everywhere, becoming the soundtrack of the decade. Vibrant, inescapable, and a bit mysterious to everyone. The boom feels unstoppable. Folks truly convinced themselves prosperity was permanent. Even experts declared, believe me, these years are set to roar forever. The drivers of this explosion? They're firing on all cylinders. Henry Ford's assembly line revolution turns out Model T cars in a flash. What once took 12 hours now takes just 93 minutes. Vehicles pour onto roads, sparking massive demand in auto manufacturing and pulling along oil, steel, rubber, and countless related sectors. America's economy isn't merely expanding, it's accelerating at full throttle. With cities lighting up via widespread electricity and newfound luxuries, the nation becomes obsessed with new inventions like radios. By 1929, over 10 million households own one, tuning into singers like Al Jolson alongside endless commercials in crackly AM glory. Yet while urban areas dance the night away, rural America is barely scraping by, left out of the festivities. Farmers who thrived selling crops during the war now watch prices crater. They borrow heavily to buy modern equipment, but those gleaming tractors only speed up their path to ruin. In contrast, city dwellers invent a dangerous new pastime, purchasing things far beyond their means. Enter the age of installment buying. Buy now, pay later. Craving a radio? Put it on credit. A new car? Easy payments. Even shares in some quirky company promising the moon? Absolutely finance that too. Banks, loving the profits, hand out credit plans to pretty much anyone breathing. It's like proposing marriage after one coffee date. But the real frenzy? It pulses on Wall Street. The stock exchange turns into an adult amusement park. Thanks to margin buying, you could snag $100 worth of stock with only $10 cash. The other $90 borrowed against future gains. Who needs caution? Stocks always climb, or so everyone swore. Even the shoeshine guy had tips. Hey pal, utilities are the next big thing. I cleaned up on... Wait, stocks, not socks? Still shining shoes? Sure, but in my heart, I'm a mogul now. When barbers, butchers, and bootblacks are dishing investment advice, you know the bubble's inflated. Shoeshine boys tout hot picks to financiers. A hotel bellhop advises a Rockefeller to ditch rails for some pencil stock. From 1924 to 1929, the Dow Jones Index more than quadrupled. Share prices defied logic and gravity. Who cares about actual earnings? Fundamentals are for losers. It's all about the momentum and the mood. My portfolio's soaring, and so is my ego. Corporations got clever, creating investment trusts and holding companies stacked on holding companies, often owning little more than air and hype. A handful tried warning the crowd. In 1929, economist Roger Babson predicted a severe crash ahead. Wall Street laughed, bought even more shares, and basically told him to chill out. Jazz bands drowned him out. Confetti flew like money grew on trees. No one paid attention amid the avalanche of cash and blind confidence. Yet beneath the glitz and glamour, fractures were widening. Farm debt skyrocketed. Household borrowing exploded. The whole economy was dancing on the edge of a precipice, with no one bothering to test the ground. But relax, it's still 1929. How bad could it get? October 29th, 1929. The nation wakes prosperous and sleeps destitute. Black Tuesday enters the history books as the day the market didn't dip. It cannonballed straight down. The Dow nosedived. Ticker machines spewed endless bad news like demons. Phones never stopped ringing. Brokers yelled themselves hoarse. Traders collapsed on the floor. Legend has it one man suffered a heart attack, revived, checked his holdings, and dropped again. $14 billion evaporated that day alone. In modern terms, well over $200 billion. Not play money. Real life savings, homes, educations, futures. Poof. Gone in smoke. Sell it all except my lucky vest. It's my last possession. Crowds milled outside the exchange in dazed quiet. Some clutched hands, others wept openly. Many just gazed at the pavement, wondering how prosperity had stumbled so catastrophically. The Roaring Twenties didn't fade out. They slammed into a wall, dragging everyone's nest eggs with them. But that was merely the opening act. The crash ignited a domino effect. Margin calls hit first. All those borrowed bets, $10 down for $100 in stock, sounded genius until values tanked, and brokers demanded the rest now. Panicked sellers flooded the market, but buyers vanished. Many couldn't cover, wiping out fortunes in hours. Monday millionaires were paupers by week's end. Bankers who'd yachted all summer now glared at incomprehensible ledgers. Then the banks themselves buckled. Those majestic temples of finance, marble halls, polished wood, revealed foundations of hot air and bad loans. Unable to collect from crashed investments, they toppled one after another. And the public. They stampeded. Full-on bank runs erupted nationwide. Throngs shoved at doors demanding their deposits. Tellers pleaded for calm. Your funds are secure here. Well, mostly secure. Families wiped out overnight. Grandma's securities? Toilet paper now. Uncle Joe's life savings? Vanished. Only the kid's coin jar remained intact. No one dared break the news that he was suddenly the family's richest member. The chaos leaped oceans. American banks yanked foreign loans in desperation. Europe, still patching war wounds, got hammered anew. Germany's shaky republic crumbled further. Britain teetered. World trade, the lifeline of growth, halved in 3 brutal years. Still, denial reigned. Papers spun positives. Healthy correction as profits realized. Next column, a gentleman selling his watch for a loaf of bread. Leaders claimed the storm had passed. Suited bankers grinned for cameras. Everything's under control. No flames here. President Hoover took to the airwaves, voice steady. The foundations of our economy remain strong. Meanwhile, families stared at bare tables, pondering which foundation might fill empty stomachs. The bleeding continued. Limping, delusional, the system lurched on. The crash wasn't rock bottom. It was the trap door opening. Deeper horrors awaited. By 1931, the jazz had died. Lights out, party crashed hard. Next came the eerie quiet of shuttered factories. Dads murmuring sorries they'd never imagined uttering. A whole nation gasping, out of air. Unemployment rocketed to 25%. 1 in 4 willing workers idle. In some cities, closer to 1 in 3. Industrial output plunged 75%. Mighty assembly lines went silent. Men who'd built the future now loitered at locked gates, hoping against hope. Urban streets filled with silent bread lines winding blocks long. Moms queued before sunrise for watery soup. Kids watched, not grasping why meals were optional. Schools saw pupils collapse from hunger, not mischief. Literal famine stalked the land of plenty. Despair invaded homes. Failed banks, lost savings, eroding pride. Suicide spiked so high papers quit counting. Every number hid a story. person who'd trusted the system. Weddings postponed indefinitely. Births delayed. Who plans families without food security? Then nature piled on. Overfarmed plains, soil exhausted. Drought hit. Winds howled. Dust storms, black blizzards, engulfed the Midwest. Day turning to apocalyptic night. Crops entombed. Animals choked. Houses drifted shut with dirt. Families in Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas fled by the millions, cramming jalopies headed west for promised work and fertile ground. California or bust on battered signs. Too often, just bust. In D.C., Hoover clung to philosophy, promoted charity, small programs, grand projects like the massive dam bearing his name. But dams don't feed Detroit's unemployed or house-evicted Midwesterners. He rejected big government help as socialist peril. Public tuned him out. His name mocked misery. Hoovervilles of tin and tarp, Hoover blankets of newsprint, Hoover flags of empty turned-out pockets. Legacy. Engineering feats amid widespread suffering. Then the breaking point. Summer 1932, WWI vets, the bonus army, marched on Washington for promised payments due far off, but needed immediately. They camped peacefully in view of the Capitol. Denied, then attacked. Troops with tanks and gas routed them. Vets who'd bled for America gassed by America's army. Nation watched horrified, questioning its soul. Extremism grew. Socialist and communist meetings swelled. Not ideology, but raw desperation. Crime boomed. Outlaws like John Dillinger or Bonnie and Clyde cheered as avengers against failed banks. America fractured, yet resilience endured. People trekked, queued, clung to kin. Survived on sheer grit, no alternatives. In a land of supposed infinite opportunity, what remains when opportunity evaporates? Who could guide the rebirth? March 1933, Franklin Roosevelt sworn in. Crowds huddled by radios. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Not markets, not drought, just paralyzing fear. More than words, a national exhale. FDR acted fast. 100 Days Blitz. Young men in rags got tools, camps, missions via Civilian Conservation Corps. Plant forests, fight erosion, restore dignity. Then WPA. Millions employed building infrastructure, highways, dams, schools, parks. Breadline standers became builders, raising America anew. Tennessee Valley Authority electrified forgotten regions. Dams harnessed rivers, power flowed, lives brightened. Dark hamlets glowed. Radios crackled with hope, powered at last. Economy ticked up. Joblessness eased. Dust literally settled with better farming. Dreams crept back. But FDR reformed the core. SEC policed stocks. FDIC ensured deposits. Banks reopened to lines forming for deposits, not withdrawals. Trust restored. Social Security, modest pensions saying old age won't mean destitution. Unassuming. Revolutionary. Arts flourished federally. Murals, photos, plays capturing the era. Dorothea Lange's Migrant Mother. Weary Eyes speaking endurance. Movies escaped reality. The Wizard of Oz turning black and white to Technicolor. Amid hardship, imagination thrived most. Cities revived. Cafes reopened. Swing replaced somber tunes. Factories whirred again, now for defense, uniforms, planes, ships. War loomed globally. America rose not just healed, but mobilized. The Depression faded not in fireworks, but sweat and structure. Calloused hands, New Deal laws, lingering hope, faint jazz echoes, a shattered country reassembling itself. Yet as it stood taller, shadows gathered overseas, darker, deafening, worldwide. This time, no nation would escape untouched.